Yo, what up? It's Aaron Moses. Gang. Yes, I had to switch it up to the collar button down shirt. I gotta do laundry. Mind your business. This is the problem with LA gangs. That's the name of the video that Trap University made. I'm not from LA. I don't know anything about LA gangs or politics or anything like that. But let's see what this man has to say. My bad.
LA, Nick, you know what? I'm trying to clean up my language a little bit in these videos, but Los Angeles gang members. There is nothing the FBI loves more than a gang with some structure. Why? Because if I'm the FBI, all I gotta do is find one guy at the top and he'll link me to everybody else. You see, the thing about the little YNs in
True.
Chicago backdooring each other and being every man for themselves is that it's much harder to prove a racketeering conspiracy against them. The law won't even try to bring any Chicago gang members into court to try to prove that any of them are doing anything in furtherance of anything other than themselves. You can't even.
That's very, very true, very demonic, and very sad. That the structure in Chicago is kind of like that. But the fact that it's actually true is really sick.
A gun around the guys when you in Chicago. A dude will smoke a wood with you, eat some wings and fries with you, then steal from you as soon as you go to sleep and send you outside unarmed. Then act like he missed you on social media when somebody catch you. The difference in LA is that there's a such thing as a big homie, a violation, and a DP, or discipline. It's such a rigid structure that in some parts of LA, a grown man can tell another grown man what he's doing in embarrassment of the gang, and this guy that's being DP will actually take action to clean up his act. And all this is good and well for the community until y'all start shooting at each other. All this structure and discipline becomes pointless when it works against you in the courtroom. Any other organization.
Bro, what you fail to understand is this structure and organization being demolished or unrecognizable or unrecognized in Chicago, that's very new, bro. That how niggas are operating now in Chicago, that's very recent. That hasn't even been happening for 20 years yet. Even when I was in jail, somebody got we call it V'd in Chicago, V for violated. In LA they say DP. He got penetrated with a broomstick in jail because he was on the street and he deleted somebody and he didn't get permission to delete that person, and he was told to not do that. You know what I mean? And that's how his gang handled it. Now, I think at some point he probably lost his life. You know what I mean? But that was in 2010, bro. It's 2025. So this whole structureless system is very new. Let's get into it.
These type of rules is just the way it should be. There's no problem. But we put structure in the wrong thing. Why doesn't Chicago, a place some people consider the birthplace of gangs and one of the birthplaces of organized crime in the United States, why is there no gang structure in Chicago? Because when there was, the feds did a sweep and easily dismantled the entire thing until there was no structure left to build on. I remember riding through Washington Park when the Calumet buildings and the other projects were still up that housed this structure, and it was Bentleys and Maybachs riding through the hood. The big guys was making money and the foot soldiers was being taken advantage of, and this was so the big guys could continue making money. And when the feds came, some of these leaders cooperated and told everything. Ain't nobody finna go from riding in Rolls Royces to serving life just to say they was a real nigga. Some guys will, and these guys didn't get out until they had gray hair, and the feds know this, so all they gotta do is offer somebody a deal. You see, when Big U and all those people got snatched, why did 12 of them get out within a couple weeks? We don't know yet, but I can take a guess. The real question is, why did all those people get their face put on their board under Big U? Gang structure. When Loose Cannon decided to expose the
Wait a minute, let me see something real quick. So from what I could see, there are only a few people on this board with street gangs or nicknames. Blueface, Ronnie Mac, JJ, Vev, or Vay. I want to say I heard of Vay before. Bear Claw, Big U, Big Baby, Loose Ass Cannon, and we can't see the bottom 7 of these dudes. Is this nigga Asian, bro? Come on, my nigga. See what you get? Your parents told you, but you just didn't listen. You didn't listen. Anyways, yeah.
Under Big U, gang structure. When Loose Cannon decided to expose the guy he was putting in work for, he made one of the smartest moves you can as an enforcer. You can't tell me that the guy at the top has anywhere near the same loyalty that the guys at the bottom have for him. Loose could have made just as much money on YouTube as Big U did in the streets, so he didn't have to be an enforcer at all. And Big U doesn't have to cooperate on anybody in this case to get them boys barbecued, cause you know, like I know, that them people don't come unless they got you. Why is Loose Cannon talking to Adam 22 on a jail call from the feds, facing federal time for things you already admitted on this man's show after he said he gave them the tape? This who you talking to? Alright, Brick Baby.
And you did it on 3-way at some point, which it tells you clearly not to do, or there will be consequences, and you got your girl involved. And this bitch identified herself. And her voice is pretty distinct, so she can't say it was somebody else. And they can look at the calls, so there's that. This nigga's loose as hell. This nigga's loose for real. In Chicago, loose means something weird, different.
You 37 years old. You letting another grown man tell you what you gonna give him from what you stole. Allegedly. It's a lose-lose on both sides, because if you have structure like in LA, you take yourself down in the federal courtroom because all structure is a paper trail. And if there's no structure like in Chicago, your own homie gets you out the way before your ops can. Speaking of paper trail, didn't Banging on Wax start in California? Now I know that groups like NWA was not all real gangsters. We know Eazy-E was, but didn't Ice Cube go to art school or something? And of course the West Coast kinda did start the trend back in the day of publicly gang banging on music and home videos, but this was the beginning of the end for self-snitching. I get that huge, and because of this, the law can't.
Facts. It definitely, yeah.
Keep up with every gang and every set. So a lot of these.
What'd he say? I was laughing.
California is huge, and because of this, the law can't. Was the beginning of the end for self-snitching. I get that California is huge, and because of this, the law can't keep up with every gang and every set. So a lot of these guys will get away with it. For 50 plus years too. I mean, you will not find any older gang members in America than you will find in any part of California. But that goes back to that structure. Once I turned 25 in Chicago, I either lost most of the guys I was closest to in the gang, or I already got snaked by the rest of the guys. So if I did end up making it that far in life, I'm gone. I'm not staying around y'all, because when you die or go to jail, your guy's gonna be trying to get with your girl, and they're not sending you $1 in prison. That's a street guarantee in most cities. But this is why there's still such a thing as an OG in LA. It don't take a rocket scientist to know that there's no chance any other little guys running around with switches would ever listen to a Big U or any older guy. Honestly, where I'm from, a Brick Baby is considered an old goofy if he ain't putting money and weapons in the hood, and he still might get took down for everything he got, because there's no respect for real. Lil Durk allegedly putting money on people in Chicago. Listen, I don't know if y'all know, but allegedly they got recorded jail calls of guys snitching on Durk because he ain't sending money fast enough. Nobody Durk's age is running the streets putting in no work in Chicago. It's the teenagers only.
Damn. You know what? Yeah. That's not true. That's not true at all. But I will say this. As far as with the last thing he said about nobody that's Lil Durk's age or what have you. Let me see what he said, actually. I don't want to get his words messed up.
They got recorded jail calls of guys snitching on Durk because he ain't sending money fast enough. Nobody Durk's age is running the streets putting in no work in Chicago. It's the teenagers only. And
I would have to say that that is... That's true to an extent. But at the end of the day, I mean, Dirk's like almost four. How old is Dirk? I think it's like 34, 36. Are there people in LA doing that same thing? In Texas, New York? That's usually, that's a thing. Gang banging era is from 12 to 25 at the oldest. By the time niggas hit like 30, they already been to jail a lot, prison once, at least twice, and they're trying to figure it out, bro. You gotta think about it. Think about this, bro. Think about this. Peep this. Let's say I'm still gangbanging right now. I'm 34, right? Even if I was in pretty decent shape, let's say even if I was in above average shape, do you think I want to compete with somebody who doesn't have any sense of consequences in life? Number one, they don't have a family, they don't have anything to lose, and they could be a virgin. And if they're not a virgin, they might be in what they think is a serious relationship with somebody that's a year younger than them. Let's say a 16-year-old, bro. A 16-year-old that listens to Future and I don't even know what niggas listen to like that besides Future. That listens to this stupid ass music that's out right now every day. These 2-minute and 15-second songs that's popping perks. In LA, they still drink a little bit. That's popping perks and drinking Hennessy. That's never been to jail before. You think I want to compete with that? Hell no, bro. No. Molly? No. I mean, we did Molly too, but it's probably something. You know what's crazy about right now? And I'm going to start the video. Because there's so much Fent out. We didn't have Fent when I was active in my situation. So I didn't have any fear about doing the things I was doing, putting in my body. Pause. Bro, you gotta be a fool to be doing these drugs right now. And that's even gonna boost your high. Even knowing in the back of your mind that you could pass away by putting this substance in this handful of white powder. You don't even know it. If it's Fent or not, but you still gonna put these 2 handfuls of white powder in your face, in your body. That thrill just knowing that you could possibly go to sleep and not wake up again, that's gonna make the high even greater.
Teenagers, there's no conscience and no loyalty. Once that Cash App didn't come through, Dirk was just another old goofy, and now he's gonna have to probably pay the price for thinking otherwise. And just that little illusion of structure alone was enough to build a Fed case on him. So when you got guys still having gang meetings and extortion calls, sure, the police and the feds will let this go, but once you take it to its full potential, like Big U did, playing with millions of dollars, now the feds just can't let you slide, because they know what it could turn into. But of course, most guys stay too involved in petty squabbles to become a real enterprise. Remember, the FBI created the RICO Act just so they could stop the mafia. And this probably wouldn't have happened if the mob wasn't getting money. But John Gotti had all the money and the houses and luxury cars, all untaxed. And Uncle Sam is always gonna get his cut. And these people are not willing to share that money under any circumstances. You in his country, so you gotta pay. When the projects were still up in Chicago, the police would come by and interrupt the money operation until they got their cut. Once they did, they drive off and leave you to it. But once the feds stepped in, the little crooked cops had no more power. Cause again, a lot of money was floating around untaxed. And Uncle Sam holds a grudge when it comes to that money. And unfortunately, most guys in the streets will live their whole life part of a program, as they say in LA, that could be $1 billion operation if they had the right mindset. But most of them will still end up dead or in jail without ever touching $1 million. And there's a few that got some real money and managed to serve less than 20 years in federal prison, which is the best you can hope for. But when that's the best you can hope for, is any of this even worth it? And to all my California dudes, all over California, stop going on no jumper. Alright, it's not 2016. There once was a time where Adam and all his little weirdos could have gave you some clout, and his podcast actually used to mean something in the rap community. But now it's just what the feds watch on their lunch breaks. I don't care how many views you get in, man. You could get.
I don't know about all of that, bro. I mean, you don't like No Jumper because of what you just said, them getting people in certain situations. But it's not the people. It's not them getting people in certain situations. It's people going on there being unwise, not using the platform for what it's for. It's a music platform, but niggas never talk about music. They don't talk about the structure or how they make their music or what. People talk about their lives and all of that, but there's a way that you can incorporate. There's ways that you could capitalize this. RSK Nephew's not he's not a gangbanger at all. But there are ways that you can avoid certain situations. For all of these situations, I already made a whole video on this. If you go on any platform, never talk about your juvenile record, bro. Because if they try to snatch you up, they're going to use you saying something about sealed documents. When you're a juvenile and you get charged as a child, when you get charged as a juvenile, bro, that's sealed automatically in all 50 states when you turn 18 years old, bro. They cannot revisit that. When you keep on saying, oh yeah, I did burglaries, robberies, home invasions, I got caught selling dope when I was 7 years old, and the only reason they put me in juvie that time is because when I was 3 months old, man, I had an 8-ball in my diaper, man. Like, bro, shut up, bro. Like, even if that is the case, don't talk about your juvenile record, bro, because that's hurting your character even more. And the fact that you said it, that can possibly give them the permission to look that up. Because they can only look up your juvenile records when it's relevant to the case that you're catching as an adult. So that's just one piece of information. That's a little bit of game on how to not get so caught up when it comes to these platforms. But I wouldn't say it's flat. I wouldn't say it's No Jumper. I wouldn't say it's Fox News. I'm saying it's these niggas going on there not capitalizing in the way that they could capitalize.
This out the mud yourself. You don't need no other podcast. You don't need no other platform. You can become your own platform. And shout out to all my new viewers, man. Y'all are the reason that everybody else should know that anything is possible. And I'm still not the type to tell somebody don't get their money. It's just hard for me to get down what they got going on in No Jumper. So I advise all of the Cali. Listen, if no Cali dudes got on their podcast, he wouldn't have one. You understand? And Loose, please stop calling this man.
Yeah, man, you just earned a subscriber, bro. Trap University. But it is what it is. It's not what it's not. It's Aaron Moses. I'm the band, you the band, you the band. Together, man. Let's in the bread, be in peace. Okay.